it took an awful long time for the WHO to change those regional and global things to very high, by which time it would have been obvious to absolutely anybody who looked at the numbers. There are now 10,500 new cases, increasing at 17, almost 18% a day. China has 80,000 cases still, well, supposedly. 130 new, that's not very many. That includes Hubei province. That's, well, I don't know, that's 0.15% or something. Not a very high percentage rate. Even the new deaths, it's only about just over 1%, although nobody likes anyone to die. The global cases are increasing now, look, much faster. Well, they're increasing at 2%, whereas China's China's cases are increasing at, you know, point something percent, less than 0.2%, entirely because you've got an 18% increase outside of China, and now this is way more than 10% of the total cases. It must be 11 or nearly 12% of the total cases are outside of the world. I mean, compared to China, the rest of the world has, what, an eighth of the complete cases now. So the rest of the world's catching up, and it's going to catch up, I think. Let's see how many. So I'm filling in my data here, and let's have a look and see what the daily increase is. I always do that. 20%. See, it's the percentages in those 25.6, etc., etc. You see, for the rest of the world, are very. I mean, they've actually gone up, not down. They should have gone down, not up. I mean, even South Korea and China, which are in the when China was in the early stage of its epidemic, the percentage daily increases were extremely high, but they started to fall quite quickly. Okay, how many deaths have we got today? 2,946. But of course, the world deaths 166, which is on its way up again, increasing pretty rapidly. 23.1% yesterday. 38 new deaths, 29% up today. 29% increase in deaths, is that right? Yeah, because it's like 37 on about 130. That's disastrous. So the rest of the world's problems are accelerating. But strangely enough, as I said in the last one, South Korea was, at least, I don't know if it is now, decelerating. The daily percent change has been falling in South Korea for a few days now. So it's given me the chance to try and forecast South Korea. Let's go and have a look at South Korea, because that's the most interesting one, to see if they're managing to get on top of this at all. 48,126 new cases. That sounds pretty awful. How awful is it? Let's have a look. 4812. Ah, right, okay. The 5186. Well, I've seen 5186 on the Chinese website. That's very, very odd. Let's just put that up there. Let's say what the WHO says, 4812, which is up 600. That would change these forecasts a little bit. That would change the equation of this line a bit, actually. It won't be quite as bad then, because I'm forecasting 14,000 cases for South Korea at the finish. Oh, did you see that move a little bit? did you see that move? That moved a little bit then. Select data, Korea. Yeah, 51. That's it, yeah, the equation of the line moved. So, okay, 109.14 minus 0.158, that's a lot steeper now, because this point was up there before. But those cases already exist, I'm afraid. But I'm using the WHO reports, so you get an end of day report. So that'll be the end of day yesterday, I guess. So, 109.14 and minus 0.158. 109.14 and minus 1.158, if I can remember those. This is becoming more of a chore, actually. 109.14, so 3 minus 0.142. So this is 109.14, and this is minus 158. That's going to bring the forecast of cases for South Korea down quite a lot. You see, it's brought them down to just under 11,000 now. By whenever. So that's the number of new cases predicted. Once it gets close to 0, okay, that's the percentage increase, that's the actual number of cases. So once that gets less than 1, it barely goes up anymore. So you're going then to a standstill on the cases at 10,950 by about, well, by the beginning of May, basically. And the forecast still says about 86,000 for China. This forecast for 88,000 for the rest of the world, that's just completely dead now. You can't forecast the rest of the world because the rest of the world has gone mad. So you can only forecast for China and for South Korea, and the rest of the world is going exponential right now. So my rest of the world thing, that just null and void, basically. That's out of the window, and I'm not doing that anymore. And the reason for that, actually, let's just show you. The reason for that is that the rest of the world cases, as you can see, were decreasing according to this equation. Really close, actually, even from before the beginning of February. But now, because this is for the entire world, because the rest of the world cases are increasing so fast, the lines turned up. So this is the second part of the epidemic, basically. This was the decline of the China epidemic, the decline of the percentage rate of increase, but because of the rest of the world cases, that's creeping up now. It'll eventually probably go up to 10% or more. Heaven knows where it's going to go. If you look at that on a log chart, it doesn't even matter, basically. It's really starting to go up for the rest of the world, you can see. Now for China, actually, it's creeping up a little bit for China as well, which is, but I think, let's have a look. The percent daily increase for China, I think, has probably started to decline again. And again, the equation for those lines will change slightly. And give to see the China one has gone below the line now, which is good news, if it's true, of course. But you see, this shows the forecast is pretty, well, let's say potentially accurate, because you've got points above the line, you've got points below the line, and that's exactly what you want to see. When you've got a predictive trend, you want to see some points above the line and some points below the line. As long as they're straddling the line, as long as the new points are straddling the line, then you think, well, okay, you know, maybe these forecasts are not too bad. My current forecast for China, by the way, would be for 86,000 cases. Okay. And 3,450 deaths, kind of coming to an end sometime in April or May. So they're going to need to be in quarantine for another month and a half. Okay, that just shows in order to stop this epidemic and not have it go up again, they're going to need to be in quarantine until they have 0 new cases, which, you know, means until April at least, maybe beginning of May. And for the rest of the world, there's a long way to go. We may not even get to this sort of deceleration. South Korea is decelerating already, even though it doesn't look too good. The daily percentage increases are decelerating, allowing you to forecast the top end of the S-curve. You've had the exponential increase, now it's starting to decelerate, okay, and gives about 11,000 cases for South Korea. So okay, that's today's video, 3rd of March. I should put some on the blog, put some charts on the blog for you to peruse properly. These are very kind of spontaneous videos. I'm short of time for doing these, but I just want to show that this can be forecasted by someone using Excel. Okay, I just want to test these, put them on the record and see how accurate or inaccurate they turn out to be. For somewhere like Italy, heaven knows what's happening with Italy right now. I daren't even imagine. Let's have a look. Italy, 347 new cases, 2,036 for Italy. 2,036 for Italy. Italy's one of these kind of purpley. There's so much data on this spreadsheet now. It's very difficult to find what's what. There it is. Okay, did I say 2,036? I'm not really sure. Okay, you had a 49.7% increase yesterday, and this time you've got a 20.5% increase. But I mean, look, there's no real trend in this, is there? Yeah. It's not really downtrending, so that means Italy's probably going to get a lot more cases. Whereas here, you can see with South Korea, just in the figures, the downtrend in increases, daily increases in percentage terms. Remember, it's in percentage terms. There's a definite obvious downtrend there, isn't there? Okay, definite obvious downtrend coming to here. That's my forecast. I should be looking at the actual real figures, shouldn't I? Okay, these are the real figures, not my forecast figures. Yeah, there's a little bump up there, but you've definitely got a downtrend pretty much in the rates in South Korea, but not in Italy. They're not really trending down. Okay, they're all over the place. So Italy's in a lot more trouble right now. Hopefully it'll start to downtrend soon, and there'll be a chance of getting this thing under control in Italy. But you need to have a decay in the percentage increases. Looking at the actual numerical increases, it's difficult to tell, because it's like the R0